What if up was down? What if black was white? What if we put these guns down and just held each other tight? What if smartphones were dumb and we had no choice but to think? No texting, no TikTok, we'd all be forced to speak. What if vegetables tasted like candy? Would broccoli rot your teeth? What if schools weren't so test obsessed and teachers could really teach? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm right? What if we're running out of time? What if we took this chip off our shoulder and enjoy the sunshine? What if everything we see isn't really what it seems? What if nothing is really real and we're all living in a dream? Say, what if? What if? What if, what if? That was my version of the poem, What If, written after Shel Silverstein and spoken word artist Rasheed Adero, and that was my version that I like to read to my class at the very beginning of the year to help us get adjusted to a new year. And we begin the year off by writing poems using questions. My name is Mr. B. I am a third grade teacher / poet / snack stealing donut lover. One of the prompts we are going to use today is the poem What If by Shel Silverstein. I like using this poem because it's a great way for students to release some worries and anxiety they have at the beginning of the year, and it gives them an opportunity to list that in a very creative way. And we do it together, and we also teach what repetition is. Now, repetition is when you repeat a word or a phrase over and over, and it's a great way to jumpstart your writing. And you can use it with many different prompts. You don't just have to use it with what if. You could say, if I were president, if kids ran the school. You can just say a simple I wish sentence starter. Repetition is a great way to break that writing wall down. So today we are going to use the classic What If poem by Shel Silverstein from A Light in the Attic. So let's check it out. Last night while I lay thinking here, some what-ifs crawled inside my ear and pranced and partied all night long and sang their same old what-if song. What if I'm dumb in school? What if they've closed the swimming pool? What if I get beat up? What if there's poison in my cup? What if I start to cry? What if I get sick and die? What if I flunk that test? What if green hair grows on my chest? What if nobody likes me? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? What if I don't grow any taller? What if my head starts getting smaller? What if the fish won't bite? What if the wind tears up my kites? What if they start a war? What if my parents get divorced? What if the bus is late? What if my teeth don't grow in straight? What if I tear my pants? What if I never learn to dance? All in all seems swell, and then the nighttime's what-ifs strike again. If you look at the what-if poem that Shel Silverstein wrote, and you can do this with any question words, he has 3 different types of question styles. He has, some serious questions, like, for example, what if they start a war? That's a serious question. A personal question, what if I flunk that test? He's worried. He has a test. What if he flunks it? That's a personal question. And then there's a silly question. What if green hair grows on my chest? Unless you're the Incredible Hulk. And this is what I encourage all of you to do when you're writing your question poem. You should write serious questions, silly questions, and personal questions. So in our journal, we always write 3. That helps us get started, and then we continue from there. So we write 1 serious, 1 silly, and 1 personal. This is the Beehive What If remix that we came up with from piecing all of our journal writings together, our 3 questions, and we added a little hip-hop flavor to it, like my friend Rasheed did in his poem, and he says, what if, what if? At school as I sat dreaming there, some what-ifs snuck into my ear. They stole my attention all day long to recite that familiar what-if song. What if the world was taken over by robots? What if zombies started to take over our town? What if an earthquake shakes right under our school? What if someone steals my homework and says it's theirs? What if a weasel waltzed into our class and ate all of our books? What if we had alligators as class pets? What if I get locked in a locker and nobody lets me out? What if nobody likes me and I start to cry? What if? What if? What if? What if? What if I get kicked in the leg? What if I get stung by a bee? What if I fall in the mud and people laugh at me? What if I get poked by a cactus? What if Spike grows so big that he tries to attack us? What if my cat got stuck in the door? What if my dog got lost in the woods? Would they survive? What if I really become a bee in room 20's beehive? All in all seems well, but then those school time what ifs rise again. What if? What if? What if? You don't just have to use what if questions. You can use any kind of questions. So there are the question words, the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Poems that started with questions. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? By Billy Shakespeare. Poems that started with questions. How long will this donut last before I find it in my grasp? Poems that started with questions. How long will this cookie sit before I find some milk to dip? Poems that started with questions. So don't be afraid to ask the craziest questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. I'm going to read a student example from one of my 3rd graders, and she wrote questions to the school. And what do we call that? That's right, we call it personification. Here is a great example. Using questioning, repetition, and personification. School, do you like homework or do you hate when teachers give it out? School, do you ever put the lights out? I saw teachers in your main office at 6 in the evening. What do they do there so late? School, how do you feel when we leave? Do you cry tears as big as the ocean, or do you have a huge smile that we have left? School, do you wish we could stay forever, or do you get frustrated because we drop pencils and leave snacks on your floor? We make a mess inside of you. Oh, school, do you love us as much as we love you? Break it down! One of her questions to the school had an emotion connected to it. And then she used the opposite emotion to go along with it. So at the very beginning, she said, do you like homework? Or do you hate when teachers give it out? So she said like and hate, complete opposite emotions. How do you feel when we leave? Do you cry tears as big as the ocean? Or do you have a huge smile that we left? Again, 2 more questions, opposite emotions. You ask a question, it gets the reader thinking, like. So that's a great example of how you can use opposite emotions to go along with your questioning techniques. The last example is a poem that I wrote. It's just straight questioning. It's silly questions that I wrote during Christmas time. It's coming to town. Oh my God! This poem is called Christmas Questions. As soon as Christmas nears, questions flow through my Santa cap each and every year. What if Rudolph, with his nose so bright, blew out his light while guiding Santa's sleigh tonight? Isn't sneaking down the chimney into another person's house totally against the law? Has Santa ever used the bathroom at my house? It's a long trip. I'm sure he's got to go. What is figgy pudding? Is he related to Figgy Newton? How bad do you actually have to be to get coal? How awesome would it be to have your own elf? He could do all your work and live on a shelf. How come Santa only works 1 day a year? No wonder he is so fat and jolly and filled with cheer. By Santa Bee. All right, poets, it's time to do your thing now. We talked about Shel Silverstein's What If poem. We talked about using the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why, and how. We had great example with the school poem that used personification, repetition, and questioning. Then we had my example of listing Christmas questions that were just straight up silly. So there is no limit to your
imagination.
One of the things you want to remember when you're using your questioning strategy is silly, serious, and personal. If you write questions with those 3 ideas in mind, silly, serious, and personal, you are on your way to writing a great poem. The most important thing is that you do the last 3 letters in poetry and you have fun writing. And remember, like, click, and subscribe.